how do these traits get expressed? Okay, how does the mechanism of the heredity work? Okay, cellular DNA is the information source for making a protein in the cell. Okay, in the cell, okay, what, okay, DNA is the information source for making a protein in the cell. Okay, that is the one of the informative agent. A section of a DNA that provide information for one proton is called gene for the protein. Okay, that is said to be a gene for a protein. How do protein control the characteristic that we are discussing here? Okay, in this we will discuss that only, that how the protein control the characteristic, okay, that we are discussing. Okay, let us take the example tallness as a characteristic. If we take one of the characteristic which is tallness, okay, we know that a plant have a hormones that is trigger growth, okay, which is said to be trigger growth. Okay, plants is also having a hormones. Okay, plant's height can thus depend on the amount of particular plant hormone. Okay, so plant's height can be dependent on whom, okay, amount of a particular plant hormones. Okay, depending on the hormones, okay, height will be discussed. Okay, the amount of the plant hormones may will depend on a efficiency of a process for making it. Okay, it is totally depends on the efficiency, okay, of a process for making them. Consider now an enzyme that is important for this process. Okay, enzyme which is one of the important, okay, for making this process. If the enzyme work efficiently, okay, if the enzyme is working efficiently, a lot of hormones will be made. Okay, many hormones which are made, and the plant will be tall, due to which we will see that the plant's height will be tall. Okay, so lot of the hormones will be made, and due to which a plants will get a proper amount of tallness. Okay, so enzyme play an important role for efficiently. Okay, if the genes for a enzyme has an alterated ration that make a enzyme less efficient. Okay, if the enzyme are less efficient, then what will be seen, the amount of the hormones will be less. Okay, so the amount of the hormones will be less, and due to which plant will be short. Okay, so from this we can say that if the hormones is less or enzyme is less efficient, okay, then what will be seen, a plant will not get proper amount of tallness or a height. And if the enzyme and hormones are good enough and enzyme is efficient, then hormones will be greater, or a amount of hormones will be greater, and due to which plant will get a proper amount of tallness. Okay, so it is totally depends on the hormones. Okay, and hormones is made because of the efficiency of an enzyme. Okay, so from this we can say that the height of a particular plant totally depends on the efficiency of an enzyme as well as the amount of a hormones. Okay, if the enzyme is good efficient and good enough for efficiency, then it will produce a lot of hormones, and due to which, okay, plant will be having a good enough tallness. Okay, here you can see that capital R, okay, round and green, and wrinkled and yellow. Okay, this both the two you can see that. Okay, here you can see that round, which are indicated as double R, green, okay, and wrinkled, which are double R small. Okay, now if we see, okay, both of them are interacting with each other, and due to which you can see that nu will be formed, which are R and Y. Okay, here you can see that capital R will be there, small y will be there. Same way capital R will be there, small r will be there, and capital Y will be there. Now this both of them will able to give a R, small r, Y, small y, okay, which is round and yellow. Okay, from this we can say that it will be round and yellow. Okay, so further on if we go, okay, so here you can see that if the capital Y will be there, okay, which is one of the important trait, capital Y, if the capital Y will be there, then it will be yellow in color. Okay, same way further on, capital R and small r and capital Y and small y, okay, both of them interact with F1 and F1, so the possibility will be this. Okay, you can see this. Okay, here 315 round and yellow. Okay, so total 556 seeds will be there. The possibility or probability of getting a new trait will be this. Okay, so if the interpretation of a Mendelian experiment we have been discussing a correct, then both parents must be contributing equal to the DNA of a progeny. Okay, we know it very well that both of them are giving a equal amount of cells and amount, okay, of a DNA progeny during the sexual reproduction. We have discussed this issue in the previous chapter. In previous chapter, we have already discussed. If the both the parent can help or determine the trait in the progeny, both the parent must be contributing a copy of a same genes. Okay, they both of them are giving a copy of a same genes. Okay, this means that each pea plant must have a two sets of all genes. Okay, both of them have a set, okay, two set of all genes, one inherit from each parent. Okay, from each parent one of the gene can be inherited. For this mechanism to work, each germ cell must have only one gene set. Okay, so each germ cell will have one gene set, okay, which will be from one from parent, from mother and father, both of them. How do germ cell make a single cell? Okay, of a gene from the normal two copies that all other cell in the body have. Okay, in the body we can see that two copies will be there. If the progeny plant inherit a single whole genes set from the each parent, okay, from the each parent they are getting one gene, then the experiment explained, okay, cannot work. This is because two characteristics, okay, R and Y, small y, will then be linked to each other and cannot be independently. Okay, so it will not be independent inherited. This is explained by the fact that each gene set is present, not a single long thread of a DNA, but a separate independent pieces, each called a chromosome, okay, which is said to be a chromosome. You can see that chromosome is said, okay, it is said to be a chromosome. Thus, each cell will have two copies of each chromosome. Okay, each cell which are there have two copies of each chromosome. From the each chromosome, they will form two copies. Okay, one each from the male and female parent. Okay, one will be from male and one will be from female. Every germ cell will take one chromosome. Okay, germ cell which are germinating. Okay, that will take a one chromosome from each pair, and this may be either maternity or paternal origin. Okay, maternal or paternal origin. Okay, it may be from the father also, or it may be from the mother also. When two germ cells combine, okay, when two of them are combined, they will store the normal number of chromosomes in the progeny and ensuring the stability of a DNA of a species. Such a mechanism of inheritance explains the result of the Mendel experiment. Okay, that was the experiment from the Mendel and is used by all sexual reproducing organs. Okay, from this we can say that one is getting from the one which are getting from the father and another which are getting from the mother, and this way it will form. Okay, so and is used by the all sexual reproducing organism, but asexual reproducing organism also follow similar rule of inherit. Can we work out how their inherit might work? Okay, now the new topic, sex determination. Okay, how we can know that a germinating cell is whether it is a male or female. Okay, so sex determination, how this process is carried out, okay, in the body. Okay, we have discussed the idea that two sex participation in a sexual reproduction must be somewhat different from each other from a number. Okay, they are different from each other. Okay, both of them do not have a same pattern. How is the sex of a newborn individual determined? Okay, how we can determine whether a newborn baby is a baby girl or a baby boy? Okay, different species use a very different strategy. Okay, different species have their different strategy for this. Some rely entirely on environmental clue. Okay, it is also depend on the environmental cue also. Okay, thus in some animal like a few reptile, the temperature at which fertilized eggs are kept are determined whether the animal developing in the egg will be male or female. Okay, so from this we can say that in some animal, okay, of a reptile, okay, they are fertilize their egg, okay, during a particular season, and depending on the season they will giving a male or a female species. Okay, so the species are depend on the temperature in some of the animal. Okay, in other animals such as snail, individual can change a sex, indicating that a sex is not a genetically determined. Okay, so that is not a genetically determined, it cannot be determined genetically. However, here you can see that in male there is a XY and in female there is a presence of a XX. Okay. Now here you can see that offspring. Okay. What are seeing that X and Y are there. In same way here. Okay. If the offspring, okay, new born baby, okay, if they are getting a X and X, okay, here you can see that from a male, okay, if getting X, and from the no from the male if the getting a X, and it's already seen that from the female, okay, it will get X only. Okay, so if the both of them are XX, then a possibility of a female, okay, it will be a newborn baby will be a girl child. Okay, same way if the XY will be there. Okay, so from this we can say that a newborn baby will be a boy child. Okay, so here you can see that possibility of getting from a female is always X. Okay, from the female it will get X only. Okay, but from the male, okay, as you can see from the male there is a possibility 50-50 possibility will be there. Okay, that will be of a X or Y. Okay, if the offspring is getting a Y, okay, from the male, then it will be a male child. Okay, and if the offspring is getting X from the man, it will be a female child. Okay, in human beings the sex of an individual is largely genetically determined. In other words, a genes inherit from our parent, from our parent. In other words, the genes inherited from our parents decide whether we will be a boys or a girls. But so far we have assumed that similar gene set are inherited from the both the parent. Okay, from the both the parent. Okay, getting a similar inherit. If that is case, how can genetic inherit determine sex? Okay, the explanation lies in the fact that all the human chromosomes are not a pair. Okay, human chromosomes are not a pair. Most human chromosomes have a maternity or paternity copy. Okay, many of them having a maternity copy or a paternal copy. Okay, maternal copy or a paternal copy. And we have 22 such pair. How many pair will be there? There are 22 pair, okay, through which it can be done. But one pair called a sex chromosome. Okay, there are how many? Once again I am repeating. We have 22 such pair. How many pair are there? 22 such pairs are there. But one pair called a sex chromosome and is the odd, is not always been a perfect pair. Women have a perfect pair of a sex chromosome, both called X. Okay, in a woman. Okay, in a woman there is a how many pairs? 6 chromosome. Okay, pair of a 6 chromosome, perfect pair of a 6 chromosome, both called X. How many pair are there? Okay, 6 pair of chromosome are there. Okay, how many perfect pair of a sex chromosome? Okay, and all of them will be X. But men have a mismatched pair in which one is the normal size X while the other is the short one called Y. Okay, once again I am repeating. Okay, that we have 22 such pair. How many pair are there? 22 pair are there, in which one pair, okay, called sex chromosome, and odd in not always been a perfect pair. Okay, but women have a perfect pair of a sex chromosome, both called X. Okay, both of them are X, but men have a mismatched pair in which one is a normal size X while the other is the short one called Y. So a woman are XX. Okay, so in woman there is a XX, while in men it will be XY. Okay, now can we work out what the inherent pattern of a X and Y will be? Okay, how the X and Y will be? Okay, as the figure 9.6 show, half the children will be boy and half will be girl. Okay, possibility of a boy will be half, and same way possibility of a girl will be half. All children will inherit X chromosome from their mother regardless of whether they are boy or girl. Okay, which we have already discussed that from the mother, okay, a child will get X chromosome only. Okay, there is compulsory. Okay, there is compulsory that child will get X chromosome from his mother or his or her mother. Okay, so from the mother it is compulsory that a child will get X chromosome, but it is depend on the father. Okay, whether from the father a child is getting X chromosome or a Y chromosome. If a child is getting X chromosome from his or her father, okay, what will be there? A child will be a girl child. And if a child is getting a Y chromosome from his or her father, then a newborn baby will be a boy. Okay. Thus, the sex of a children will be determined by what they inherit from their father. Okay. So, it can be totally depends on the father chromosome. A child who inherits an X chromosome from her father will be a girl. Just now we have discussed. In same way, if a one who is inheriting a Y chromosome from his father, okay, it will be a boy child. Okay.
Sexually reproducing individuals have two copies of genes for the same trait. Example, let us assume tall plants have caps TT genes and short plants have small TT genes. If the copies are not identical, example, cap T small t, the trait that gets expressed is called the dominant trait and the other trait is called the recessive trait. In detailed explanation, both copies of genes cap TT, then they are tall plants. If both copies are not same as cap T small t, then also they are tall plants, which means a single copy of cap T genes is sufficient to make a plant tall. If both copies of genes are small tt, then they are short plants. So, in this example, caps T traits gets expressed even with a single copy of genes and so called as dominant traits. Small t traits are not expressed with a single copy of genes and so called as recessive traits. Now let us compare with an example of pea plant. Let us take parental generation of two pea plants with different characteristics. One pea plant P with green color and round seeds and tall. Another pea plant Q with yellow color and wrinkled seeds and short. When both P and Q plants are cross-pollinated, the F1 generation plants are tall, yellow color and round seeds. Then, F1 generation plants are self-pollinated instead of cross-pollination. Then the progeny of F2 generation are some with tall plant, yellow color, round seeds. Short plants, green color, round seeds. Short plants, yellow color, wrinkled seeds. Tall plants, green color, wrinkled seeds. In this generation, some traits are expressed as dominant traits in some plants. In some plants, tall as dominant, in some others, short as dominant, and round seeds as dominant in some plants and wrinkled seeds as dominant in some other plants. Thus, the tall or short trait and the round seed or wrinkled seed trait are independently inherited. Now let us learn how do traits get